Hi, I'm Lydia Cornell, and I have a couple of quick stories to tell you. A couple of years ago, I was staying out in Antelope Valley, Mojave Desert, taking care of my parents. And they were falling down a lot, and they were in a board and care home. And I used their big motorhome to stay in at the Elks Lodge to take care of them because I didn't want to rent a place out there. We didn't know what was going to happen next. And I remember being out there and looking outside the window and thinking, what a barren desert landscape. There's no trees. I looked at the back of this big building in front of me across the street, and I thought, what an ugly building. I was really negative about being out there. And the next day I went to the other side of the building, and there was a lake and palm trees, and it was an oasis. It was so beautiful. And that was a metaphor for my life at the time, where I was looking at the wrong side of the building. I was kvetching and whining and complaining about everything. And I quickly snapped out of that because I'm in recovery. I celebrated 30 years yesterday. And a lot of that is about changing your thinking and being less self-centered and being less of a jerk and not mucking about in your lower nature. When you're up in your higher nature, you start being less selfish, more compassionate, more sensitive, less greedy, less fear-based. But anyway, it's a road, it's a journey. There was on one Christmas Eve out there a couple years ago, I was waiting for my son to come and I realized I was out of something I wanted. I needed some vegan mayonnaise. It's veganese. And I didn't think there were any health food stores out there. So I researched it and I found one called the Whole Wheatery. So I figured I have enough time to race there, get it, and run back before my son gets here. So I asked Siri, navigate me to the Whole Wheatery. And she took me to an adult bookstore. And I thought, maybe she thought I said Whole Eatery. I'm sorry, that is a very horrible joke, but I actually did think that. I thought, what was she thinking? Why was I in an adult bookstore? Anyway, I finally found the place, Whole Eatery in Lancaster. Nice health food store. I raced in, I got my jar of veganese, I raced to the line, and a woman with 90 items beat me to the checkout. And I'm fuming, and I'm thinking, well, instead of asking her politely, may I go ahead of you? I preferred to stand behind her and fume and huff and puff. I was in my lower nature. I even made a fake phone call to the hospital. My mother was not in the hospital, but I said, hi, Mom, I know you're on your way to the hospital, but I'm in this long line. I can't get out of this long line. And then I realized I'm being an asshole. I'm being a selfish bitch. And the minute I had that thought, I looked at the back of the woman in front of me, at her head, and she was shaking with Parkinson's. And at that moment, I poured waves of love out to the back of her head. Because to me, prayer is the invisible transfer of love to another. And at that moment, she turned around and said, oh my God, you have only one item? Go ahead of me. So, like clockwork, every single time I catch myself being selfish, self-centered, fear-based, greedy, I'm either caught, I'm either caught in that problem and somebody calls me an asshole, or I catch myself in time to correct the problem and turn it to love. So that's a quick story about how 30 years of sobriety has really helped me. But I have to keep celebrating. It's amazing. It's a journey, It's not easy. It's not simple. Wait, it's simple, but it's not easy to stay in the higher realm of thought up here. Because Einstein said no problem can be solved at the same level it was created on. You have to go to a higher level. By the way, I'm a little hoarse. Got over COVID 2 weeks ago. It's a little bit of a lingering throat issue, but it's getting better day by day, as everything in life is when you change your attitude and start practicing gratitude. All these cliches, they work. Love you guys. Have a great week.